Aston Villa Football Club is an English professional association football club based in Witton, Birmingham. The club was founded in 1874 and has played at their current home ground, Villa Park, since 1897. Aston Villa were founder members of the Football League in 1888. They were also founder members of the Premier League in 1992, and have remained there ever since. The club was floated by the previous owner and chairman Doug Ellis, but in 2006 full control of the club was acquired by American businessman Randy Lerner. Aston Villa is one of the oldest and most successful football clubs in the history of English football. They have the fourth highest total of major honours won by an English club, having won the First Division Championship 7 times, the FA Cup 7 times, the Football League Cup 5 times and the UEFA Super Cup in 1982. Villa also won the 1981 Euro 82 European Cup, and are thus one of 5 English clubs to win what is now the UEFA Champions League. They have a fierce local rivalry with Birmingham City. The second city derby between Aston Villa and Birmingham City has been played since 1879. The club's traditional kit colours are claret shirts with sky blue sleeves, white shorts and sky blue socks. Their traditional badges of a rampant gold lion on a light blue background with the club's motto prepared underneath. A modified version of this was adopted in 2007. On May 12, 2014, it was announced that owner Randy Lerner is selling the club. History. Aston Villa Football Club was formed in March 1874, by members of the Villa Cross Wesleyan Chapel in Handsworth, which is now part of Birmingham. The 4 founders of Aston Villa were Jack Hughes, Frederick Matthews, Walter Price and William Scattergood. Aston Villa's first match was against the local Aston Brook St Mary's rugby team. As a condition of the match, the Villa side had to agree to play the first half under rugby rules and the second half under football rules. After moving to the Wellington Road ground in 1876, Villa soon established themselves as one of the best teams in the Midlands, winning their first honour, the Birmingham Senior Cup in 1880, under the captaincy of Scotsman George Ramsay. The club won its first FA Cup in 1887 with captain Archie Hunter becoming one of the game's first household names. Aston Villa were one of the dozen teams that competed in the inaugural Football League in 1888 with one of the club's directors, William McGregor, being the league's founder. Aston Villa emerged as the most successful English club of the Victorian era, winning no fewer than 5 league titles and 3 FA Cups by the end of Queen Victoria's reign. In 1897, the year Villa won the double, they moved into their present home, the Aston Lower Grounds. Supporters coined the name Villa Park. No official declaration listed the ground as Villa Park. Aston Villa won their 6th FA Cup in 1920, soon after though the club began a slow decline that led to Villa, at the time one of the most famous and successful clubs in world football, being relegated in 1936 for the first time to the second division. This was largely the result of a dismal defensive record. They conceded 110 goals in 42 games, 7 of them coming from Arsenal's Ted Drake in an infamous 1 Euro 7 defeat at Villa Park. Like all English clubs, Villa lost 7 seasons to the Second World War, and that conflict brought several careers to a premature end. The team was rebuilt under the guidance of former player Alex Massey for the remainder of the 1940s. Aston Villa's first trophy for 37 years came in the 1956 Euro 57 season when another former Villa player, Eric Horton, led the club to a then-record 7th FA Cup final win, defeating the Busby Babes of Manchester United in the final. The team struggled in the league though and were relegated 2 seasons later, due in large part to complacency. However, under the stewardship of manager Joe Mercer, Villa returned to the top flight in 1960 as second division champions. The following season Aston Villa became the first team to win the Football League Cup. Mercer's forced retirement from the club in 1964 signalled a period of deep turmoil. The most successful club in England was struggling to keep pace with changes in the modern game, with Villa being relegated for the 3rd time, under manager Dick Taylor in 1967. The following season the fans called for the board to resign as Villa finished 16th in the second division. With mounting debts and Villa lying at the bottom of Division 2, the board sacked Cummings, and within weeks the entire board resigned under overwhelming pressure from fans. After much speculation, control of the club was bought by London financier Pat Matthews, who also brought in Doug Ellis as chairman. However, new ownership could not prevent Villa being relegated to the third division for the first time at the end of the 1969 Euro 70 season. However, Villa gradually began to recover under the management of former club captain Vic Rowe. In the 1971 Euro 72 season they returned to the second division as champions with a record 70 points. In 1974, Ron Saunders was appointed manager. His brand of no-nonsense man management proved effective, with the club winning the League Cup the following season and, at the end of season 1974 Euro 75, he had taken them back into the first division and into Europe. Villa were back among the elite as Saunders continued to mould a winning team. This culminated in a seventh top-flight league title in 1980 Euro 81. To the surprise of commentators and fans, Saunders quit halfway through the 1981 Euro 82 season, after falling out with the chairman, with Villa in the quarter-final of the European Cup. He was replaced by his softly spoken assistant manager Tony Barton, who guided the club to a 1-0 victory over Bayern Munich in the European Cup final in Rotterdam courtesy of a Peter with goal. The following season Villa were crowned European Super Cup winners, beating Barcelona in the final. This marked a pinnacle though, and Villa's fortunes declined sharply for most of the 1980s, culminating in relegation in 1987. This was followed by promotion the following year under Graham Taylor and a runners-up position in the first division in the 1989 Euro 90 season. Villa were one of the founding members of the Premier League in 1992, and finished runners-up to Manchester United in the inaugural season. For the rest of the 90s however Villa went through three different managers and their league positions were inconsistent, although they did win 2 League Cups and regularly achieved UEFA Cup qualification. Villa reached the FA Cup final in 2000 but lost 1-0 to Chelsea in the last game to be played at the old Wembley Stadium. Again Villa's league position continued to fluctuate under several different managers, and things came to a head in the summer of 2006 when David O'Leary left in acrimony. After 23 years as chairman and single biggest shareholder, Doug Ellis finally decided to sell his stake in Aston Villa due to ill health. After much speculation it was announced the club was to be bought by American businessman Randy Lerner, owner of NFL franchise the Cleveland Browns. The arrival of a new owner in Lerner and of manager Martin O'Neill marked the start of a new period of optimism at Villa Park, and sweeping changes occurred throughout the club, including a new badge, a new kit sponsor and team changes in the summer of 2007. The first cup final of the Lerner era came in 2010 when Villa were beaten 2-1 in the League Cup final. Villa made a second trip to Wembley in that season, losing 3-0 to Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final. Just 5 days before the opening day of the 2010 Euro 11 season, O'Neill resigned as manager with immediate effect. Reserve team manager Kevin McDonald took over as caretaker manager, before the club appointed GAR copyright Rad Hüller as permanent manager in September 2010. Hüller stepped down on June 1, 2011, and was replaced by Birmingham City manager Alex McLeish, despite numerous protests from fans against his appointment. This was the first time that a manager had moved directly from Birmingham to Villa. McLeish's contract was terminated at the end of the 2011 Euro 12 season after Villa finished in 16th place, only just above the relegation zone. On July 2, 2012, Aston Villa confirmed the appointment of former Norwich City manager Paul Lambert as the replacement for McLeish. On February 28, 2012, the club announced a financial loss of £53.9 million on the 12th May 2014. Randolph Lerner decided to put the club up for sale. Colours and badge. The club colours are claret shirt with sky blue sleeves, white shorts with claret and blue trim, and sky blue socks with claret and white trim. They were the original wearers of the claret and blue. Villa's colours at the outset generally comprised plain shirts, with either white or black shorts. For a few years after that the team wore several different kits from all white, blue and black, red and blue to plain green. By 1880, black jerseys with a red lion embroidered on the chest were introduced by William McGregor. This remained the first choice strip for 6 years. On Monday 8 November 1886, an entry in the club's official minute book states, "The chocolate colour later became claret." Nobody is quite sure why claret and blue became the club's adopted colours. Several other English football teams adopted their colours. Clubs that wear claret and blue include West Ham Utd and Burnley. A new badge was revealed in May 2007, for the 2007-08 season and beyond. The new badge includes a star to represent the European Cup win in 1982, and has a light blue background behind Villa's lion rampant. The traditional motto "Prepared" remains in the badge, and the name Aston Villa has been shortened to AVFC, FC having been omitted from the previous badge. The lion is now unified as opposed to fragmented lions of the past. Randy Lerner petitioned fans to help with the design of the new badge. On June 2, 2008 it was announced that Aston Villa would forego commercial kit sponsorship for the 2008-09 season. Instead they would advertise the charity Acorns Children's Hospice, the first deal of its kind in Premiership history. The partnership continued until 2010 when a commercial sponsor replaced Acorns, with the hospice becoming the club's official charity partner. Kit, Stadium. Aston Villa's current home venue is Villa Park, which is a UEFA 5-star rated stadium, having previously played at Aston Park and Wellington Road. Villa Park is the largest football stadium in the English Midlands, and the 8th largest stadium in England. It has hosted 16 England internationals at senior level, the first in 1899, and the most recent in 2005. Thus, it was the first English ground to stage international football in 3 different centuries. Villa Park is the most used stadium in FA Cup semi-final history, having hosted 55 semi-finals. The club have planning permission to extend the North Stand. This will involve the filling in of the corners to either side of the North Stand. If completed, the capacity of Villa Park will be increased to approximately 51,000. The current training ground is located at Bodymoor Heath near Kingsbury in North Warwickshire, the site for which was purchased by former chairman Doug Ellis in the early 1970s from a local farmer. Although Bodymoor Heath was state-of-the-art in the 1970s, by the late 1990s the facilities had started to look dated. In November 2005, Ellis and Aston Villa plc announced a state-of-the-art £13 a million redevelopment of Bodymoor in 2 phases. However, work on Bodymoor was suspended by Ellis due to financial problems, and was left in an unfinished state until new owner Randy Lerner made it one of his priorities to make the site one of the best in world football. The new training ground was officially unveiled on May 6, 2007, by then-manager Martin O'Neill, then-team captain Gareth Barry and 1982 European Cup-winning team captain Dennis Mortimer, with the Aston Villa squad moving in for the 2007-08 season. Ownership. The first shares in the club were issued towards the end of the 19th century as a result of legislation that was intended to codify the growing numbers of professional teams and players in the association football leagues. FA teams were required to distribute shares to investors as a way of facilitating trading among the teams without implicating the FA itself. This trading continued for much of the 20th century until Ellis started buying up many of the shares in the 1960s. He was chairman and substantial shareholder of Aston Villa F.C. from 1968 to €1975 and the majority shareholder from 1982 to €2006. The club was floated on the London Stock Exchange in 1996, and the share price fluctuated in the 10 years after the flotation. In 2006 it was announced that several consortia and individuals were considering bids for Aston Villa. On August 14, 2006, it was confirmed that Randy Lerner, then owner of the National Football League's Cleveland Browns, had reached an agreement of £62.6 a million with Aston Villa for a takeover of the club. A statement released on August 25 to the LSE announced that Lerner had secured 59.69% of Villa shares, making him the majority shareholder. He also appointed himself chairman of the club. In Ellis's last year in charge, Villa lost £8.2 million before tax, compared with a £3 million profit the previous year, and income had fallen from a £51.6 million to a £49 million. Lerner took full control on September 18, as he had 89.69% of the shares. On September 19, 2006, Ellis and his board resigned to be replaced with the new boards headed by Lerner. Lerner installed Charles Krulak as a non-executive director and Ellis was awarded the honorary position of chairman emeritus. Lerner has now put the club up for sale for a £200 million. Social responsibility. Aston Villa has a unique relationship with the Acorns Children's Hospice charity that is groundbreaking in English football. In a first for the Premier League, Aston Villa donated the front of the shirt on their kit, usually reserved for high-paying sponsorships, to Acorns Hospice so that the charity would gain significant additional visibility and greater fund-raising capabilities. Outside of the shirt sponsorship, the club have paid for hospice care for the charity as well as regularly providing player visits to hospice locations. In September 2010, Aston Villa launched an initiative at Villa Park called Villa Midlands Food, where the club will spend 2 years training students with Aston Villa hospitality and events in association with Birmingham City Council. The club will open a restaurant in the Trinity Road stand staffed with 12 students recruited from within a 10-mile radius of Villa Park, with the majority of the food served in the restaurant sourced locally. Supporters and rivalries. Aston Villa have a large fan base and draw support from all over the Midlands and beyond, with supporters clubs all across the world. Former Villa chief executive Richard Fitzgerald has stated that the ethnicity of the supporters is currently 98% white. When Randy Lerner's regime took over at Villa Park, they aimed to improve their support from ethnic minorities. A number of organisations have been set up to support the local community, including Aston Pride. A Villa in the Community programme has also been set up to encourage support among young people in the region. The new owners have also initiated several surveys aimed at gaining the opinions of Villa fans and to involve them in the decision-making process. Meetings also occur every 3 months where supporters are invited by ballot and are invited to ask questions to the board. In 2011, the club supported a supporter-based initiative for an official anthem to boost the atmosphere at Villa Park. The song "The Bells Are Ringing" was to be played before games. Like many English football clubs, Aston Villa has had several hooligan firms associated with it: Villa Youth, Steamers, Villa Hardcore and the Sea Crew, the last mentioned being very active during the 1970s and 1980s. As can be seen across the whole of English football, the hooligan groups have now been marginalised. In 2004, several Villa firms were involved in a fight with QPR fans outside Villa Park in which a steward died. The main groupings of supporters can now be found in a number of domestic and international supporters clubs. This includes the official Aston Villa Supporters Club, which also has many smaller regional and international sections. There were several independent supporters clubs during the reign of Doug Ellis, but most of these disbanded after his retirement. The supporter group My Old Man Said formed to stand up for Villa supporters' rights, as a direct result of Villa supporters' protest against the club's appointment of Alex McLeish. The club's supporters also publish fanzines such as Heroes and Villains and The Holy Trinity. Aston Villa's arch-rivals are Birmingham City, with games between the two clubs known as the Second City Derby. Historically though, West Bromwich Albion have arguably been Villa's greatest rivals, a view highlighted in a fan survey, conducted in 2003. The two teams contested 3 FA Cup finals in the late 19th century. Villa also enjoy less heated local rivalries with Wolverhampton Wanderers and Coventry City. Through the relegation of West Brom and Birmingham City to the Football League Championship, in the 2005 Euro 06 season, at the start of 2006 Euro 07 Premiership season, Villa were the only Midlands club in that league. The nearest opposing team Villa faced during that season was Sheffield United, who played 62 miles away in South Yorkshire. For the 2010 Euro 11 season, West Bromwich Albion were promoted and joined Aston Villa, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and Birmingham City in the Premier League. This marked the first time that the West Midlands Big Four clubs have been in the Premier League at the same time, and the first time together in the top flight since the 1983 Euro 84 season. However, Birmingham were once again relegated at the end of the 2010 Euro 11 season, meaning they would be playing Championship football the next season. Famous supporters: Prince William, Duke of Cambridge, grandson of Queen Elizabeth II, second in line to the throne, occasionally attends matches and has said he wants his son Prince George of Cambridge to support the club. David Cameron, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, nephew of former Villa chairman Sir William Dugdale, who took him to see a match when he was 13. Reed Pepper, voice actor born in Barbados, Ozzy Osbourne, frontman of Black Sabbath, David Bradley, actor, known for appearing in the Harry Potter film series and Game of Thrones, Emma Willis, TV presenter, Richie Neville, member of boy band Five, Mark Williams, actor and presenter, known for the Fast Show, Harry Potter and Further Brown. Also supports Brighton and Hove Albion. Phil Etheridge, frontman of Birmingham band The Twang, Chris Marshall, actor, Ocean Colour Scene band members Oscar Harrison and Andy Bennett, Tom Hanks, Academy Award-winning actor. Statistics. As of the end of the 2012 Euro 13 season, Aston Villa have spent 102 seasons in the top tier of English football. The only club to have spent longer in the top flight is Everton, with 110 seasons, making Aston Villa vs Everton the most played fixture in English top-flight football. Aston Villa are one of an elite group of 7 clubs that has played in every Premiership season, the other 6 being Arsenal, Chelsea, Everton, Liverpool, Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur. They are 5th in the all-time FA Premier League table, and have the 4th highest total of major honours won by an English club with 20 wins. Aston Villa currently hold the record number of league goals scored by any team in the English top flight. 128 goals were scored in the 1930 Euro 31 season, one more than Arsenal who won the league that season for the very first time, with Villa runners-up. Villa legend Archie Hunter became the first player to score in every round of the FA Cup in Villa's victorious 1887 campaign. Villa's longest unbeaten home run in the FA Cup spanned 13 years and 19 games, from 1888 to 1901. Aston Villa are one of 5 English teams to have won the European Cup. They did so on May 26, 1982 in Rotterdam, beating Bayern Munich 1-0 thanks to Peter With's goal. Club honours. For more information, see Aston Villa Club honours. Aston Villa have won European and domestic league honours. The club's last major honour was in 1996 when they won the League Cup. Domestic league titles: First Division 7 1893 Euro 94, 1895 Euro 96, 1896 Euro 97, 1898 Euro 99, 1899 Euro 1900, 1909 Euro 10, 1980 Euro 81. Second Division 2 1937 Euro 38, 1959 Euro 60. Third Division 1 1971 Euro 72. Cups: FA Cup 7, 1886 Euro 87, 1894 Euro 95, 1896 Euro 97, 1904 Euro 05, 1912 Euro 13, 1919 Euro 20, 1956 Euro 57. League Cup 5, 1960 Euro 61, 1974 Euro 75, 1976 Euro 77, 1993 Euro 94, 1995 Euro 96. FA Charity Shield 1, 1981. Football League War Cup 1, 1944. European Cup 1, 1981 Euro 82. European Super Cup 1, 1982. Intertoto Cup 2, 2001, 2008. Players: First Team Squad, as of June 5, 2014. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Out on loan. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. U21 squad. Players listed in bold are also part of the first-team squad, as listed on the club's official website. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Notable players. There have been many players who can be called notable throughout Aston Villa's history. These can be classified and recorded in several forms. The Halls of Fame and PFA Players of the Year are noted below. As of May 31, 2014, Aston Villa held the record jointly with Tottenham Hotspur for providing most England internationals, with 71. Aston Villa have had several players who were one-club men. In 1998, to celebrate the 100th season of league football, the Football League released a list entitled the Football League 100 Legends that consisted of 100 legendary football players. There were 7 players included on the list who had formerly played for Villa: Danny Blanchflower, Trevor Ford, Archie Hunter, Sam Hardy, Paul McGrath, Peter Schmeichel and Clem Stevenson. 3 Aston Villa players have won the PFA Players Player of the Year award. At the end of every English football season, the members of the Professional Footballers Association vote on which of its members has played the best football in the previous year. In 1977 Andy Gray won the award. In 1990 it was awarded to David Platt, whilst Paul McGrath won it in 1993. The PFA Young Player of the Year, which is awarded to players under the age of 23, has been awarded to 4 players from Aston Villa: Andy Gray in 1977, Gary Shaw in 1981, Ashley Young in 2009 and James Milner in 2010. The National Football Museum in Preston, Lancashire administers the English Football Hall of Fame, which currently contains 2 Villa teams, 2 Villa players and 1 manager. The 1890s team and 1982 team were inducted into the Hall of Fame in July 2009. Joe Mercer was inducted into the Hall of Fame at the same time for his career as a manager, including his time at Aston Villa. The only 2 Villa players in the Hall of Fame are Danny Blanchflower and Peter Schmeichel. In 2006, Aston Villa announced the creation of an Aston Villa Hall of Fame. This was voted for by fans and the inaugural induction saw 12 former players, managers and directors named. In May 2013 it was announced that former Villa and Bulgaria captain, Stiliyan Petrov, would be the 13th addition to the Hall of Fame. Management, current backroom staff, as of April 15, 2014. Notable managers. The following managers have all won at least 1 trophy when in charge or have been notable for Villa in the context of the league, for example Jots Van Glo, who holds a league record. In popular culture, a number of television programs have included references to Aston Villa over the past few decades. In the sitcom Porridge, the character Lenny Godber is a Villa supporter. When filming began on Dad's Army, Villa fan Ian Lavender was allowed to choose Frank Pike's scarf from an array in the BBC wardrobe. He chose a claret and blue O'Neill Euro Aston Villa's colours. The character Nessa in the BBC sitcom Gavin and Stacey was revealed as an Aston Villa fan in an episode screened in December 2009. Aston Villa have also featured on several occasions in prose. Stanley Woolley, a character in Derek Robinson's book A Short-Listed Novel Goshawk Squadron, is an Aston Villa fan and names a pre-war starting 11 Villa side. Together with the Oval, Villa Park is referenced by the poet Philip Larkin in his poem about the First World War, MCMXIV. Aston Villa are also mentioned in Harold Pinter's play The Dumb Waiter. Footnotes. References, specific. General, Brown, Danny. Marlowe Brittle. Villains, The Inside Story of Aston Villa's Hooligan Gangs. Marlowe Books. ISBN A978-1-903854-59-4. Goodyear, David. Matthews, Tony. Aston Villa Euro A Complete Record 1874 Euro 1988. Breeden Books. ISBN A0-907969-37-2. Hayes, Dean. The Villa Park Encyclopedia, AZ of Aston Villa. Mainstream Publishing. ISBN A978-1-85158-959-3. Ward, Adam. Griffin, Jeremy. The Essential History of Aston Villa. Headline Book Publishing. ISBN A0-7553-1140-X. When Saturday Comes, The Half-Decent Football Book. Penguin UK. 2006. ISBN A9780141927039. External links. Media related to Aston Villa FC. At Wikimedia Commons, official website, official Facebook, official Twitter, Aston Villa News. Euro Sky Sports, Aston Villa FC. On BBC Sport, Club News. Euro Recent Results. Euro Upcoming Fixtures. Euro Club Statistics, Aston Villa FC. Companies grouped at Open Corporates, Aston Villa Results and Records at stato.com.